right now the buildings are limited to 8 floors, and um, and in Project Zomboid, this is I don't remember another game where if the building existed and there's like a door, you can go through it somehow or another. Um, it's not just a texture on a wall, and you can't even interact with the door. Um, so if there is an 8-story building, you can wander through all 8 floors, like every bit of it. So, but yeah, and 8 floors is a lot, right? So now they're extending that up to 32 floors. So it's going to be 4 times as much. Um, but they're also um, adding uh, underground areas. So you could also go 32 floors below the surface. Because right now, I don't think there's any basements, like in houses or anything. Um, it's all it's all pretty flat too. Um, so I don't know what they're doing about that. But uh, they'll you could have a underground military base or something, or bunker that you could explore, or modders could create. Uh, they said basements will be semi-randomly generated. Each building will pull from an assortment of appropriate basement types. So while you won't see something crazy every 2 seconds, the new system should keep things fresh and interesting across many playthroughs. Um, so there'll be there'll be better city landscapes. Um, so I mean is it's going to be such a huge game. Um, so yeah, 32 floors. I mean, buildings with 2 or 3 floors is a lot because there's a lot of rooms in buildings like that, and there's a lot of containers. Like there's so many containers to loot. There's so much loose loot laying around on stuff. Like you you go to the you go to a like elementary school, and each desk in each classroom is a lootable container. The teacher's desk is a little lootable container. There's filing cabinets in each classroom. You go into a library, and each bookshelf is a lootable container. I mean, it's just there's so much to interact with, and it's a bit overwhelming. Um, but like it's so good.
That's what I think. Like the first house that I spawned in, I went to the kitchen, and by the time I emptied out all the cabinets, I was overcumbered, so I had to like drop stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it does whenever I watch it. Okay, so I was gonna tell Chandler, but I decided to wait for you since you were about to get online. I I got a new computer chair today. Um, it's a Lazy Boy, um,
Mm.
and it's very nice. But it's probably 6 inches wider than my previous computer chair. I wheeled it out of the uh, TV room, and I went to wheel this one in, and it wouldn't fit through the doorway. Like I had to pick it up and contort it in a weird way to get it through the doorway. I've never seen that with a computer chair, but I wasn't supposed to have access to it until Christmas. Um, yeah, it was kind of funny. We spent most of the day um, cleaning up around the house. decorating Christmas tree, stuff like that. Um, and I was, what was I, like I had spent some time outside setting up the pressure washer, um, did a bunch of pressure washing, and then I spent a little time outside, like taking everything down and putting it back. Uh, and then I came in and we cleaned both bathrooms, and I was like just kind of rinsing something off at the sink, and I was there like 5 seconds, and I look up, and a FedEx guy with the dolly and the box just goes walking by with the chair. I mean, pictures of it around the outside of the box, and it just goes by, and I was like, I don't suppose I was supposed to see that. She's like, no, I wasn't expecting it to come today. I thought it'd be here during the week. She's like, I ordered it yesterday, and they're wheeling like that was like one of the few moments I was standing there at the kitchen window, and it's just the guy walks by, and he's like, well, I guess you get to try it out for an extra month. Yeah, and so I mean it was I mean we both laughed, but I could tell she was a tiny bit uh disappointed. Yeah, she just I I think disappointed would be the right way to say it. Just it's like, well, that sucks. Yeah, I'm like, or good timing, depending on how you look at it.
All right, Andy. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like I can do it on my phone, or at least I have in the past, but I can't figure out how to do it on the laptop.
You should be able to just click on the link he posted in the fart yeah farts and beans text channel.
Oh,
Yeah, he streams through YouTube because it's a higher quality.
oh, okay. That's I was looking for it on Discord, and I was like, I don't see it. No, you're good. I'm watching it now on the laptop, and everything's fine. Mm. It's crazy. This map is massive. This it's huge. The movement is crazy.
So realistic.
Adequate uranium volume extracted and processed. Output quantity increased. Detecting terminated management personnel. Remove this individual from the premises.
They go boom.
Adequate uranium volume extracted and processed. Output quantity increased.
Yeah, just saw that.
Adequate uranium volume extracted and processed. Output quantity increased. Extraction complete. Extractors must complete cleaning and ventilation process before continuing operation. Please vacate.
Patty Pat. Yes.
Mm.
Guest security is our priority.
Do you think that the future Fallout games will be MMO, or do you think it'll do more single player?
Refrain from theft, looting, assault, murder, forced crimping, the flowers.
Mhm. 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 Yeah. Yeah, that was what interested me the most about this one was just all the lore that they could do. Yeah. Yeah. cool. That it promotes like more builds, so you can like. I feel like it gives it more playability. Mhm. Oh yeah, I'm seeing it change now. Yeah, that was my problem with Fallout 4. Like I'd try to make these elaborate bases, and I was always running out of space. I couldn't place any more items. Uh, that was very frustrating. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot more than I thought. Yeah. Yeah.
Attention, citizens. Nuclear strike imminent. Please exit the area at your earliest convenience. Thank you for your cooperation.
I was trying to. I couldn't tell if it was a death claw or not earlier. He was walking by. Awesome.
I'll be right back.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that looks tiny compared to her. Crazy to even know her health. My dog has got the squeakiest toy that she can find, and she will not leave me alone with it. So if you can hear it, I'm sorry. Let me know, and I'll mute up. Ouch. Oh gosh. Everybody gets the same loot from her. Yeah, she's massive. Have to hop off here. My dog's wanting to go out to the bathroom, and I'll probably just end up calling it a night. But I appreciate you showing it to me, like walking through everything. It's a lot more in depth than I thought it was. All right, well, you guys take it easy.
See you, man.
See ya.
So, um, I've watched some videos on it, but I want to make sure I understand the skill gem system of Po2. You you said you can only have one support gem of like a quantity of one each on on the entire build. Oh, n- I, I don't I don't know if I have or not. Mm, okay, I'm confused. Because, like, at first it sounded like you said you can have the same support gem on a different skill, but now it sounds like you cannot. Yeah. Okay. Right. See, that's one thing I'm gonna miss is because I use that to level multiple support gems or multiple skill gems in general. I put it on my secondary weapon. Yeah. Okay. So prevalent gear drops for the class you're playing. Okay. So where did they explain it? Where did they explain it? from an uncut state. Okay. Yeah. Right. Wait, how do you choose are the uncut all like a neutral color? Okay. Okay. I gotcha. Kind of like the gem cutter. So they're kind of like a gem cutter, the uncut gems. But remember the gem cutter currency for gosh, what was it for? I forget what they were used for, but it's for um, improving the quality on a certain item. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah. Okay. I need. Yeah. Hmm. I need to find that video. jazz. Okay. Big balls. Yes.
Crimson Power, she can gain large amounts of extra life, and with Vitality Siphon, she can use her spells to leech life back as well. Once you've got a significant amount of life, you can use Gore Spike to make your critical hits deal incredible amounts of damage.
There's not a job out there.
Shotguns? Just like in a shooter. As soon as we experienced that, we realized that there are a lot of design lessons to learn from shooters, and so we fully embraced them. Another feature crossbows have is attachments. This is a grenade launcher. As you can see, when I equip it, it appears on the underside of the crossbow. These attachments are just like skill gems, so you effectively get extra skill slots, and you can augment these with support gems.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll get into just briefly explain what we're going to be doing. Very unrehearsed. We've taken a bit of a different approach with this one, and what's going to be happening is I got Octavian over here playing. Instead of putting up slides with text and pictures of the bosses, we're just going to demo them live as I talk about them. Later on in the talk, if any Ezomite and the Gothic Horror, Act 4 is
more time.
Another fun. We have some skills here that you'll probably recognize if you've played PoE 1 before, but they feel a bit different to play now. Spark is great in these tight passages since it bounces around. We've added a Pierce support gem to really allow it to hit an entire room of targets. For a more single target focused skill, Arc is a good choice. It does more damage to the first target you hit. Now, if you find yourself surrounded, it might be good to use Ice Nova. It hits all enemies around you and slows them down with chill. Just be careful. Getting up close and personal isn't the ideal place for a sorceress to be. She doesn't have the defenses of a more melee-oriented character. If you want to help with the sorceress's weak melee defense though, you could use Arctic Armor. In PoE 2, Arctic Armor is a buff that builds up as you stand still. You can see the ice crystals forming around the character. They'll drop off if you walk. When monsters hit you, they take cold damage and build up to a freeze, so it's a great defense. Just be careful. You have to be standing still for a little while to get the full effect, so trying to stutter step isn't the best strategy. Now, Arctic Armor is an ongoing buff, but did you notice it didn't reserve any mana? How does that work? Well, we were pretty sick of the fact that in PoE 1 basically every character was playing with no mana pool, so we decided to change the way that reservation works. There's a new resource in PoE 2 called Spirit. Spirit is a dedicated resource you can use for ongoing effects like Arctic Armor, Heralds, Auras, or even Minions. Everyone starts with 100 Spirit, which is enough for most ongoing effects. But if you want more than one effect, you're going to need some more Spirit. Spirit is available on mods from items and on the passive tree, but if you're willing to give up your offhand slot, the easiest way to get it is by holding a Scepter. Now, if you want to increase the cold damage you're dealing, you can use a Frost Bomb. It places a bomb on the ground that reduces the enemy's cold resistance while it's ticking down. It's a great opportunity to use some cold skills before it explodes. And speaking of cold skills, a great skill to use on monsters with the slower cold resistance is Comet. This is a new skill in PoE 2, and it hits pretty damn hard. It costs a lot of mana and has a really long cast time, but it's worth the wait. It does a devastating amount of damage. To help get you out of danger, your character moves back slightly as it casts. It's pretty hard to hit a fast-moving opponent, but it's great on tougher enemies that stand still, or even a larger pack if you're further away and can predict where they're going to move. Now, if you run out of mana casting too many of those, I guess in an emergency you could cast your free-to-cast Fireball. Where did that come from, you ask? Well, this is a great opportunity to explain the way we've changed caster weapons in PoE 2. Now in PoE 1, caster weapons had a default melee attack that nobody used, and because they had that, they also had a bunch of attack mods that would spawn in them that were useless to a caster. In PoE 2, we wanted to clean that up, so now each staff comes with a built-in free-to-cast spell. Just put it on and spam to your heart's content. Now this particular staff is the base type that you get right on the starting beach, and it's quite likely that you're going to outgrow it. So that's why we have a lot of staves with more utility-focused powers for casters to use. Here we have a crystal staff. It's got a pretty cool built-in spell called Unleash. Using it slams your staff on the ground, and will allow you to triple cast whatever you cast with your next spell. Now of course you're probably going to want to use that with something powerful, and Comet is a great option. You'll notice that Unleash is one of the few skills in PoE 2 with a cooldown. In general, we really try to avoid using cooldowns because we really hate the feeling that combat is just waiting to be able to use your next skill. But it does make sense for Unleash since it's free to cast and it's something we want you to be using situationally anyway. Now, if you're facing something tough, you might want to try out Mana Tempest. Mana Tempest creates a circle of power in which your character literally hovers over the ground. While in the circle, your mana drains, but it powers up all of your spells. Lightning projectiles fork, beams change. Now, here's another attachment, an oil grenade. Firing one of these grenades coats the Next up, I want to talk about Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is a bear meta skill gem. It allows you to take any Warcry skill that another class like the Warrior might use and allow you to use it as a bear. I'm going to take the Seismic Cry gem and socket it into Ferocious Roar. You can actually socket more than one Warcry and use them all together, but let's just stick to one for now. Seismic Cry pushes enemies back and has some stun chance, but the reason we want to use it is for a mechanic called Exerted Attacks.
it ends up with a very inconsistent kind of front end. This was his little baby. He's actually printed massive scale cast bronze of these things. He's got a huge.
Okay.
Beams chain further, and you'll also do a... doesn't really sound like something that a Templar would do. We realized that since we had new mechanics for every attribute combination, it actually made sense to design new character classes to explore the new themes. In PoE 2, every attribute combination has 2 classes associated with it. Strengthened has the Templar or the Druid, on Dexterity you have the Ranger or the more spare-focused Huntress, and on Dexent you have the Shadow and the Monk, which Mark is playing here. Each class has its own 3 ascendancies that let you further specialize the class in the way that only that class has access to, but they both start at the same location in the passive tree. The quest rewards you're offered on the 2 variants are tailored to the class, but of course this is PoE. You can still mix and match anything to your heart's content. Looks like we've come across the boss for this area. In PoE 2, every area of the campaign contains a boss of at least this difficulty. That's over 100 bosses to fight as you make your way through the campaign, and they all have unique mechanics to learn.
vetting them as they come, but until then, I've got a couple questions as well. So you mentioned during the talk a few times about like what other game companies might do, what other games are doing. In the course of your work, have you just like developed an eye for being able to see like, oh, they're using this technique or that technique, or do you actually have you asked people in the industry?
Our fair share of pinnacle bosses, and obviously the same bosses will reappear in maps and a later topic. As for monsters, we've got 600 distinct monsters with different skills, looks, names, abilities, everything.
Welcome back, you filthy exiles. So, obviously, we are getting... Okay, welcome to the website that we're looking at here. So, it's poe2db.tw. This is the skill gems section, and I might do a separate video because they also have a few other things. So, we're going to split this up, probably make it more bite-sized so that it's a lot easier to digest by everybody. Anyway, so, skill gems. So far, we've been given 130, or we can see 130 different skill gems.
Not it.
What is up, everyone? Guys, listen up. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at support gems, and we're also going to take a look at the skill. The first thing we're going to take a look at here is the support gem itself. Right here, you will see that the first one pops up, and essentially what you want to do, guys, is look at these gems as a means of upgrading your abilities. So if there is an ability that you just want to make stronger, then you're just going to take a gem and equip it on that ability. There's going to be a lot of gems, and all of them are going to have different kinds of effects on the ability that you want to upgrade. You will see that on the left, we have two skills, Lightning Rod and Lightning Arrow. Both of these skills right here have two open slots for gems. You can have 5 spots in PoE2, but right here you see that 2 are available. Here's the gem that we have. It says support, and then it says multiple projectiles. And if we look closer, it says supported skills fire 2 additional projectiles. So essentially, if you take this gem and equip it on Lightning Arrow, for example, instead of 1 arrow, you're shooting 3 arrows. There you go. That's the whole philosophy of gems. And then you find different kinds of gems and equip those on the ability that you want, and you make a perfect
Talamoana Exiles, Talkative Try here with another Path of Exile 2 video. Today we have some new information about Path of Exile 2 that is very exciting from PAX West. Let's begin with the news from PAX West. There were 2 interviews that Octavian did with outlets Geeks vs. Geeks and Echo Hack, and the first one I just need to mention is the fact that early access will not be invite only. It will be open. This was confirmed by Octavian, and the way to get in. Now we're going to head into the bulk of the video, which is talking about all the different skill and support gems and the systems surrounding them in Path of Exile 2, because they have undergone quite an evolution. It's seriously ridiculous. Right now, we're looking at 124 skill gems ready for early access and 71 support gems. Now, let's get into the actual mechanics of said gem system. But before we get any deeper into the video, the best way you can support the channel is to hit the like button right now. Here's the most basic part of it. Skilled gems give skills, everyone. Support gems enhance or change those skills they are socketed in. In 2019, gem sockets were given by gear. That is completely changed. It changed in 2023, and now skill gems are just in it to your character. You have 9, and you can get more skills from items and potential ascendancy classes, which we'll talk about more later. Right now, you have a max of 5 support gems that can be linked or socketed into a skill gem. Skills start with 2 possible sockets, and you can get more sockets onto your skill gems using items or finding gems with more natural sockets. These items that you're able to find, they are probably going to be jeweler's orbs and greater versions of them that can change the number of sockets in a skill gem from 2 to 3 and 3 to 4 or 2 to 4 and the like. Gems are now gained from uncut gems, both support gems and skill gems. Gems also don't require experience to level up. Now you use those uncut gems that you find to find higher level gems, or you use uncut gems to level up gems you already have. Say you find a level 19 uncut gem. You can use it on a level 7 skill gem to level it into a level 19 skill gem, or you can just create a skill of the level of the uncut gem. You open that screen, you choose from any skill that you possibly want. You are not limited in any way besides the level of the uncut gem. But say you are a mercenary primarily using crossbows, that doesn't mean you can't choose an occult skill or an elemental skill. You can choose anything that you'd like, even though the default screen that you're going to open to is based on what you are currently wielding in your primary weapon slot. If you are a caster and you're using a staff and using elemental skills, then you will automatically open to the elemental screen instead. Originally, gems were sorted by class when gem cutting. Now when you engrave them, they are sorted by weapon or
Okay. Yes. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Sorry. I just did a factory run and I was having a pretty good match and I thought the map was clear. And I thought, well, I got 8 minutes before I have to extract. I'm gonna go peruse around and loot some stuff. And I went to a room that I don't normally go in. I open it up and Tegila's standing there. And I just I just took off running. I turned around and sprinted back down the stairs, opened the door, closed the door so he has to open it, ran across the room, opened another door, closed it, opened the other door at the other side of that room, which is locked. So I had to unlock it, open that, close it, and extract it. And like I'm shaking with adrenaline right now. Ooh, because I was like loaded down, dude. Like seriously. Hooey, 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 hoo, hoo, hoo. Yes. Oh man, that was scary. Yes.
Associated with it. Strengthen has the Templar or the Druid. On Dexterity, you have the Ranger. I think I've watched that, but I don't remember them going in depth with the skill gems.
Yeah. I do like how they separated the sorceress out of the witch. I think that was a great move because it allows more specialization options for each class. Where the witch you had like an affliction type of specialization, an elemental, and then a necromancer. Where now the witch is the necromancer regardless. you know. I watched a video on Gazzy talking about it's a short one, but he well he mains a minion build, and so he was addressing like the large like a large community complaint that um oh there's no more necromancer build, that sucks, this is stupid, and he's like, I think that's a good thing because if you want to do a minion build, you you had very few options you could specialize. If you're playing a witch, you went necromancer, and uh, and he basically said now the witch is the necromancer, and then you specialize further into necromancy, and I was like, yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah. Well, that hour and or that 2 hour interview that Gazzy and DM did with Jonathan, he said like they all start in their own respective areas in the middle, um, and that there'll be a lot of revisions to the passive skill tree as the other characters are released, and as they he kept making Jonathan kept making the point. He's like, we could do all the internal testing we can muster, and there's things you don't know until you get it into the hands